Hello class and welcome to our language arts time. Let's begin by looking at a few words and then we'll go from there. So let's take a look at some words that will show up, if they haven't already shown up in some of your reading. Bothersome is irritating, causing problems. Brute, a beast, brute. Curiosity, a desire to know something. Curiosity. Delicate, soft or light, easily broken. Delicate. Desire, to want or long for. Desire. Flounder, to struggle awkwardly. Flounder. Haphazard, not planned, casual. Haphazard. Havoc, great destruction. Havoc. Idle, not busy. Idle. Profit, the money left over after costs are covered. Profit. And these will come up in some of these words you may already know, and others of them you need to learn, like haphazard. Make sure you say that correctly. And havoc, this great destruction. They reaped havoc in the city. Great destruction came. Curiosity, hopefully you know that one. Bothersome, you know. Brute, you may already know. Maybe, if not, here it is. And look for those as you do your reading. Speaking of reading, have you read all of your stories? Have you been keeping up with your stories in your reading book? And I'd like to ask you questions over what you read for the last time when we do this. And the last time I had said to read the story of Paul Bunyan and the pages that followed. Now, we didn't have a video for yesterday because we had a test in language. So we're just simply going to go over 2 days worth this time. So we're going to look at Paul Bunyan, the story there, and then at William Tell, the legendary hero that we'll talk about in just a minute. So where was Paul Bunyan born? Mostly. And you should say what? It was actually in Maine. Remember from our geography, up at the top of our country, the state of Maine. Why did the government tell his parents they would have to move him? Why would they have to move him? Because he what? Oh, he kicked down 4 miles of forest when he was 3 weeks old. Again, we call this a tall tale. Very large child indeed. What were some bothersome things about Babe's size? Notice the word bothersome. About Babe. You remember who Babe is? That blue ox. And so what was something unusual there? Well, some bothersome things were to keep him shod and fed. Feed him. To shod means if you have a horse or even cattle, oxen, they would put the shoes on them, you know, like horseshoes and that sort of thing. All right. Give an example of Babe's humor. Give an example of Babe's humor. And did you say there was this one time where there was this collection of logs that were floating down the river? And as he floated down the river, he liked to sneak up and drink the dried up water. Or drink the river dry, I should say. It was dried up after he drank it. And so that was one thing he liked to do. It was kind of humorous thing. What very helpful thing did Babe do? Something good he did. Yes, he pulled a crooked road out so that it was straight, didn't he? Imagine Did you see the cartoon? They made a cartoon of this. If we were still in school together, maybe I could show you that cartoon, because I think I have it somewhere. A collection of tall tales. And that was in the cartoon. What was the first clue that this story could not have happened? What was the first thing that happened that proves that it's not true? Well, the first thing it records, did you say this? That Paul Bunyan was knocking down the timber at 3 weeks of age. But obviously, that wouldn't really happen, would it? Then you skipped ahead, or went ahead to the next story. By the way, Mary indoors, did you read that one? You probably can feel for her. You're feeling like her inside, cozy at this time, not being out and about as much. I hope you read that. The Legend of William Tell. Now, William Tell is like a lot of other characters with all these legends, and they're actually real historical people and events, all right? Remember? Dun, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. You know that song? That comes from William Tell, the William Tell Overture, piece of classical music that you've heard maybe in some movies even. An exciting scene. Well, the Legend of William Tell. Let's look at that. Again, it gets a little fuzzy where the truth ends and where the legend begins. Just like Robin Hood and others, that there really were real events. In what canton of Switzerland did William Tell live? Where did he live? And it was in the canton, that area of Uri, capital U-R-I, Uri is where he lived. And whom did the Emperor of Austria place over this canton? And his name was Gessler, G-E-S-S-L-E-R, Gessler. 3, why was William Tell seized? Seize him, why? He did not do what? Bow to Gessler's hat. He would not bow. Reminds me of the Quakers who would not bow to the king and got in some trouble. What did Gessler do when William Tell, appealed for justice? He was going to appeal it. In other words, speak out, push back. He said that if Tell could shoot an apple off his son's head, that he would go free. It's a very popular story. Probably heard this before. Now that's scary, because to hit something off of their head, if you weren't just right, you could kill your son, right? But it's willing to do it, wasn't it? Which of these words would you use to describe William Tell's son? Courageous, authentic, confident, talented. Which word and why? Maybe there's more than one you could pick. Which word did you pick? Which word did you pick, Logan? You're listening, right? Which word, Michael? Which word, Alice, Skylar, Emma? Which word did you pick, Nia, Chloe, and everyone else? Who said courageous? You'd have to be brave and courageous to do such a thing. And probably confident, right? You could say confident too, would describe it too. Why? Sort of told you why. And you could say a number of things. Well, it would be courageous, which these words could use to describe his son. Courageous because it would take courage to stand there and not just cry or run away. It would take confidence to stand tall, right? And not cower, which cower would go into the courageous and bravery part of it, but to stand tall and believe that his father would hit the apple, you know. Well, good story there. Read page 321 through 324 for the next time. You see that all right? And read the stories, 321 through 334, and we'll look at the questions to that for the next time. And for the remainder of our time, we're going to spend with language. We want to review a lot of the things that we have talked about. I'm going to go over some of the pages today that you will be doing. So you'll find page 256, 257, 258. There are more pages, but listen carefully, because not every single one you will do, especially on page 256. 256 does not have a page number on it, but I'm going to show you right now what it looks like. So I'm going to take the camera, I'm going to zoom in so that you can see the page clearly. So let's try this and see how it goes. You see, I've put a piece of paper here and I've written some things on it. This is what the top of your paper looks like. It's actually 256, but it doesn't have a page number. All right, and it's the page right before 257, which does have a page number. So you should be able to tell. Now I want you to look at what I've written here. On 256, it says part 4, review, lesson 166. There's no page number on the page, but look at think A, and that's this right here. What does it say? Underline the verbs 2 times and the subjects 1 time. Watch for compound parts. And let's do some of them together. I've got about 5 of them on there. And then you could do the others on your own because you have more pages today. This is going to help you out. For 1 whole hour, the Sims boys and their friends hunted for minnows, and then it goes on. I think there's a little more in your book. So I have it written on this paper, but this sentence is in your book, okay? You don't have to write it out like I did. I wrote it out. I did some extra work here for you. I wrote it out so that you don't just see the answer in my book, and you can tell me, what is the first thing we do? We're going back and we're reviewing subjects and verbs. So simply start with the verb. Number 1, for 1 whole hour, what's the verb? And let's underline it. Does it say 2 times? Yes. So let's underline hunted 2 times. Who or what hunted? Boys hunted. Now be careful. It says be careful for compound. Boys and friends. So boys, friends, hunted. Find the verb first and ask who or what. Don't underline Sims boys. Some of you want to do that all together as one thing. No, it's boys that is actually the noun, and Sims is which boys, so it's an adjective. But we just want the subject, which is the noun or pronoun, but noun in this case, okay? And that's what we do, okay? That's what you're doing. Number 2, bellowing caribou stomped angrily on the frozen tundra. What is the verb? And you do this right in your book with me. What is it? Did you say stomped? Yes. Who or what stomped? The caribou stomped. You know what caribou are? Those deer-like family members, all right? They're the largest except for the moose. They're a large one. Moose is larger, but on the frozen tundra. So we're just doing subject, verb. Okay? Let's keep going. Number 3, Jacob's sheep were wandering aimlessly over the meadow. What are they doing? What's happening here? Did you do this? Were wandering? Yes, notice the word were is underlined because it's the helping verb. Were wandering. Who or what were wandering? Always ask that. Who or what were wandering? Sheep. Did you underline sheep? Sheep. Jacob's sheep, but sheep is who were wandering, right? Over the meadow. Number 4. The Israelites complained about their food and cried for meat. What is the verb? Complained. That's something that they did. Who complained? Israelites complained. You see that? And there we go. Number 5. In the wilderness, springtime finally arrived in all its glory. What is the verb in that sentence? Something you can do. Arrived. Arrived is the verb. Who or what arrived? Are you going to put wilderness? Did wilderness arrive? Springtime? Which one? Springtime arrived. Who or what arrived? Springtime arrived. Now, wilderness is not arriving, is it? The spring has come, right? Another reason you don't want wilderness is, well, what is that? That's a preposition. And remember what we said? A subject cannot be in a prepositional phrase. And this is the object of the preposition. And that ends the phrase once you get to a noun. But this can be a subject. And it is. It makes more sense, doesn't it? And so those are a few of Think A. And you can do the rest on your own for Think A. Then look at Think B. Only even numbers. Remember to do parts 1, 2, and 3 for each one. Why did I write that there? Because look, I want to show you something about Think B. Okay, let me show you something. That's what I'm talking about. You only have to do the even numbers for Think B on page 256. Okay, because there is more for you to do today. And you'll at least get practice doing those. And we might go back later and do the odd ones. But do the even numbers for Think B. When I say do each part, make sure you do part 1, part 2, and part 3. You're going to underline the verb twice and each subject once, just like we did up in A. Then draw 1 line through each prepositional phrase, and on notebook paper, diagram. Here's what I would do. If I were you, here I've done some. See? Here they are. Here's just the even ones. And I would do what number 2 says first, because it'll make it easier to find the subject and verb. If you go through and just cross out every prepositional phrase. So let's do that first. Number 2, because we're just doing the even ones. After dinner, Father and Jeff hurried to the game. Again, this is in your book, but I've just written them out. Do you see a preposition? I see a couple. Here's one here. After dinner. I'm going to cross that out. Is there another preposition? To is a preposition. So to the game. To the game. I'm just going to cross that out. Go to the next one. And let's just do this to all of them. Where's the preposition? And it'll be easier just to do this to all of them and then go back and do the other. To the sideboard. To is a preposition, right? Okay, let's go to the next one. Is there a preposition? Find a preposition. I see several prepositions. All right. Did you cross out in many foreign countries? How do you know how far the prepositional phrase goes? Till you find a noun. Countries. Foreign is an adjective, and so is many. So all of that's the phrase. So I can just cross that out. Is there another preposition? On. On is a preposition. On their heads. On their heads. Still walk gracefully down the street. Down the street. Down is a preposition. See? See how I did that? And what happens is, aboard, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, at, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond. Okay. No, all your prepositions, it's going to cause problems. You should definitely have them all memorized by now very well. So we've done all the prepositions there. Let's go to the next one. Logan's dog fetches sticks and catches balls in its mouth. All right, Logan, do you see a preposition for your dog? Do you have a dog? Let me know. Do you have a dog? Anyone? Tell me if you have a dog. Logan, do you have a dog? Well, does it catch? Let's see. In, is that what you said, Logan, and everyone else? In its mouth. In its mouth. That's the prepositional phrase. Let's go to the next one. Paul wrote 2 letters to the church in Corinth. All right, where is it? To is a preposition. To the church. Cross it out. In Corinth. Why are we crossing these out? Who said it? Yes. Because we want to find the subject and verb, right? And the subject won't be in a prepositional phrase, and it will help us find it and not accidentally pick the wrong one. I took a picture of the Rocky Mountains. Preposition, of. So keep going till you find the noun. Of the Rocky Mountains. Rocky Mountains is the noun. In this case, if that were a subject or something, that all would be it because it's all part of the name. But anyway, all of that is a prepositional phrase. Now we're going to go back and we're going to find the verb and subject. What's the verb? Well, now it's easy because it's just a few words here. Hurried. Underline it 2 times. Who or what hurried? Jeff hurried. Now don't go too fast because there might be a compound. Father. They both hurried, right? So they're both the subject. Compound. Let's go to the next one. Number 4. Carefully carried grandmother's glass bowl. What's happening here? What can you do? Carry. That's a verb. That's something you can do. Who or what carry? Carefully. I could see someone out just underlining carefully because that word comes right before it. But is that what's happening? You have to think about it. Who or what carry? Carefully? That's not a person, place, or thing, is it? Grandmother? I could see someone underlining that. Is grandmother carrying? No, it's grandmother's glass bowl. Who or what is carrying? Carefully carry grandmother's glass bowl. Guess what? The word's not there. Who is it referring to? Yes. It's an imperative sentence. And imperative sentences, the subject is always understood you with a capital U and parentheses. And I'm going to go like that. That's what you're going to do for that one. Because it's an understood you. It's talking to you, the reader. You carry grandmother's glass bowl, right? And so be careful with that one. All right, ladies, balance heavy objects, and we'll walk gracefully. All right. What's the verb? Is it still walk gracefully? Okay, what's the verb? What is something you can do? Walk? Anything else? Walk. Walk is the verb. Who or what walk? Ladies balance heavy objects and still walk. Okay, so do the objects, that's a noun, but ladies is a noun. So how do we know which one it is? Ask yourself the question, who or what is walking? Are the objects walking? Do the objects walk? Or do the ladies walk? The ladies walk. So that one is the subject. Underline it one time. See? That's how you do it. Let's go to the next one. Logan's dog fetches sticks and catches balls. Now, an action word, something you can do is the verb. What is it? Who said fetches? Give yourself a pat on the back. Good job. All right, now keep going. 2 times. All right? But always be watching. Is there anything compound here? Is catches something you can do? Catches balls. So there's 2 verbs. Fetches, catches, right? 2 things that's happening, that's being done. Who or what fetches or catches? Is Logan fetching or catching? No. What? The dog is, right? Logan's dog. Logan would be describing dog. It would actually be an adjective, wouldn't it? So dog fetches, dog catches, right? There we go. Go to the next one. Paul wrote 2 letters. What's the action word here? A lot of it's crossed out in this sentence. It's just that much to look at. What's the action word? Wrote. Who got that right? Who or what wrote? Paul wrote. One more. I took a picture. You what? Took. Who or what took? I took. And there you have it. Now, what else does it say to do there for part 3? For part 3, what does it say to do? On notebook paper, diagram. Guess what? You have to diagram the sentences, but you only have to do the even numbers that you've done right here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I want to get you started with diagramming. Now, remember, this is just subjects and verbs for this page. So you're only diagramming subjects and verbs. So here's an example of what I'm going to talk about. Here's an example sentence. We excitedly journeyed to the mountains. Now, this is just a sentence I made up to help you, okay? Actually, no, we're not going to do that yet. That's for later. We're just diagramming subjects and verbs. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Number 2. So number 2 was after dinner, if you're looking in your book, Father and Jeff hurried to the, right? So what is we always do that and that first, right? What is the verb? Always write that first. Hurried. Okay? Hurried. I'm going to do this one together. Who or what? Hurried. And this is the part where you might have to, say, oh, I need a little more room because guess what? That's compound. So I'm going to need to do something different here, right? Who remembered to do that? Yes. Here's your rocket ship. And then put your dotted line. Put 3 lines there, okay? So who or what hurried? Father. Jeff. There's 2 subjects, right? Jeff. And the connecting word always goes here. Diagrams are very important, by the way. You know why? Why do we do diagrams? Did you know diagrams make you smarter? With the language part of your brain, it's true. It helps you understand how our language is put together, and it makes you a better writer when you, especially in upper grades, when you're writing many more papers. And this helps us understand how the language is put together and how the words are all related with each other within a sentence. So here we have a diagram, all right? So there we go. We have just the subject and verbs that we're doing. Now, number 4, you're going to do the rest of these. But again, we're just doing the even ones. So you should, let's see, not correct here. Let's see. Let's go back and see what it says here. Okay, so yes, we're just going to do the even ones. So I keep getting ahead of myself. So go back through and diagram, carefully carry grandmother's glass bowl, right? And do number 4, diagram them. What is the verb? Carry. Carry. All right. Who or what? Carry. Remember, it was understood you, so that's what you would write here. And do all the rest of those on your own. And this, of course, is for think B on 256, diagramming the sentence. Do all the rest of those. And then go on page 257 and 258. This is where I was getting ahead of myself earlier. There are diagrams on that page too, and I just want to point this out, and then we'll end this video and you just do your pages. But think D, go back to think C on page 257. So you'll do think C, but when you get to think D, you're going to be diagramming what you did in think C. Think C is very similar to what we did already, so you shouldn't have any problems, hopefully not, finding subjects and verbs. But you need to be able to diagram modifiers too, not just subjects and verbs when you do the think D diagrams. I've written it out. I've written an example one. We excitedly journeyed to the mountains. This one's not in your book, but I just want to review. Journeyed. If that were think C, that's what we would have done, right? Who or what journeyed we? But look, if there's a modifier, you need to diagram. That's an adverb. Excitedly journeyed to the mountains. Don't worry about diagramming a prepositional phrase. Just the verb, subject, and any modifier, like an adverb, or if there were an adjective, you would diagram it too. So, for example, now there's certain ones that you have to diagram for think D on page 257. You don't have to diagram all of them, okay? So let me show you one of them. Maybe we'll do one. Number 4 is the first one you have to do. We'll do that one, all right? Let's see. Now, see how that is think C, right? And look, the storm damaged, right? The farmer's crop of corn. I'm showing you that one. You would simply diagram damaged, storm. The word the is an adjective, right? And so that's all you'd have to do for that one because, but that isn't one you actually have to diagram. They want you to diagram number 4 as one of them. So what is number 4? Let's see. Number 4 is right here. We did not mention the subject again. We did not mention the subject again. There's a few answers there, but do the rest on your own. We did not mention the subject again. So how would we diagram that? So of course we do this, right? What is the verb? You should have underlined did mention. Now look, I have this feeling that there's going to be at least someone who wants to put the word not in there. Is not a verb? No. So don't write did not mention. Did mention, but not in the sentence is between those two words, right? Did is a helping verb and mention is a main verb, but not is not a verb. Who or what did not mention? Do you remember what it was? Let's see. We, right? We did not mention it again, something like that, right? We did not mention it again. We did not mention the subject again, right? So here's what you have to do. Not is an adverb. Who remembers that not is an adverb? All right, there were certain words I told you to memorize, and they are words like not, no, very, right? And so I would just memorize when you see those. Those are used a lot in sentences, that they're adverbs, and they're going to go here. Did not mention it when, again. And again, that is an adverb. Why? It's telling when, right? And so again, that is how you'll do number 4, diagram, and do the other diagrams, and do page 256, 257, 258. Hopefully this has helped you to understand this. And so for next time, you make sure you do that and have all of those done. I know the diagram in 5th grade, you need to know, definitely need to know how to diagram subjects and verbs. You know, the adverbs, you know, you'll still be working on those in 5th grade too. And the teacher will probably be understanding if there's a few things because they aren't the easiest thing. But subjects and verbs, there are some that are still not diagramming those correctly. So parents, if you're listening, that is something we definitely need to know. And finding subjects and verbs, finding adjectives, those should definitely need to know how to do to go to 5th grade. So we're not together, but I hope that this is helping you, helping all of you as best I can, try to help you. So until next time, you work hard, you do your work, even when it's hard, and hard too at this time. And again, I wish I could be with you to help you even better, but we're doing the best we can. I hope this video was helpful to you. So you hop to it. There's quite a few sentences to do. So do your best and do every one that I said to do, remembering which ones not to do. You usually don't have a problem remembering that one part though, do you? And so do your best. Do your very best. And until next time, be looking for the next video. You take care.